Simple cooking, simple cooking channel.
Alrighty, now for this, the bottom and the top layer, you want to be a regular cake tin. For the middle layer, you want to get a cake tin like this with a hole in the middle. You can always just cut a hole in the middle if that's easier, but I find this is just makes it a little easier to make. So what you do for this, I'm not going to show you what cake to make because it's really entirely up to you if you want to make a sponge cake, a vanilla cake, a butter cake, whatever, and I'm making it with colours. So I just need to place that. Then you get your middle layer, which would have the hole in it, and as I said, if you don't have a cake tin with a hole in it, just cut a hole in it. Now once you get to this part, before you put the top layer on, get your M&Ms and just pour them in. Oh, yum. And put the top layer on. Now this is where we're going to just put the icing or frosting on. Now you can just buy some ready-made or you can make your own. So this is more of a how to make the cake this way, not how to make a cake, but the decoration and the idea of it. I just put the icing, sugar, frosting, whatever it is you're using. As I said, you can just buy it from the store or ready-made, or you can just make it yourself. I prefer to make it myself just because it's, well, it's part of being creative, but something like this can take a while to make. So just do that all the way around, get it a good thickness so it hides the layers where they join. Now that the icing is on, decorate however you want. With M&Ms, I'm going to put them around the outsides and then coming in different colors, so it's like a rainbow. Now that the top is done like this, you can do it the same way if you wish. Now start on the side. Now I'm just going to start with red. Alrighty then, there we have it. Around, what do you see? The colours. Now for this, just bake a cake. You can buy a pre-made packet thing, just add the ingredients and do that, or bake a cake from scratch, butter cake, vanilla cake, something that's a pale coloured cake. Then separate it into 4 bowls. Now if you want to make more than 4 colours, separate them into more bowls. And then just get food colouring and put in, really depends on how vibrant you want the cake colours to be. And just mix it through. Now get a cake tin. I'm using a 6-inch cake tin. You can use one that's slightly larger if you wish, but I find this works best for this because it's only a small amount. Now the first colour you want to put in is the red. So pour that in. Now just leave it like this, put your next colour in. The next colour to put in would be yellow, and that will just push the bottom layer out to the edges. Next colour is green. And then blue. Preheat your oven to about 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. That's generally about what you want for most cakes. If you've just chosen a pre-made cake mix, follow the instructions. This just needs to go into the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. Now once the cake has cooled down, just cut it into pieces. Yum, 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 yum. Just chuck them in. Now at this point you can put in whatever you want. You can put in some whipped cream, some pudding, whatever. I'm putting in a bit of pudding. Then put on another layer. Just get the whipped cream and spread that out. Now get some of the cake, crumble it up a little bit, sprinkle it over the top. Well, I hope you like this. Now for this, get a large mixing bowl that you can put in the microwave. Now we're going to make this in one go, and then we're going to separate the mixture into 5 lots to make the 5 colours. So you want to get 1 cup of gum mix. It sort of looks like the pellets you'd go and feed a goat. Now I'll put a link in the description where you can buy this gum mix. Then add just over half a cup of corn syrup. It can also be called glucose syrup. Then add 1 tablespoon. So add 1 tablespoon of glycerol. Now if you can't find this in some of the shops, you should be able to get this at a chemist or a pharmacy or a drugstore. Just add that straight in. Then add half a tablespoon of citric acid. Then add whatever flavour you wish to use. I'm using peppermint. You can use essence, but I'm using extract because it's got a lot more flavour. So I'm using about 1 to 1.5 tablespoons. You can use more, but you could try this as a good starting base. Now pop this in the microwave. We're going to put it in there for 60 seconds on high, and then just give it a little stir, and then repeat for about 30 to 40 seconds and stir it again, and repeat that if you need to, but it should be done after the second go. Alrighty, that's looking good. Now this is where you want to divide it up into 5 separate goops. Now just get a cutting board or somewhere that's a good spot that doesn't matter if you get a bit of gum stuck to it. And just pour some on. Now you want to have about 2 cups of icing sugar, confectionery sugar. These 2 cups need to be divided between the 5 amounts. So pour some of it on there. We want to mix it in, knead it, and just get it so it's nice and gooey. Now be careful, this will be very hot, so try not to burn yourselves. Unless that's a goal of yours, then dive right in. Now once this is mixed in a bit, we'll get some food colouring for the first colour you want to make. Alrighty, now once you've got it the way you like, it should be quite, see it's starting to firm up now. Now this is where you want to add the colour. So however many drops you want in, just depends on how vibrant you want the colour. So I'm putting red first. And just squish it in, knead it through. Now just leave that like that and repeat with the remaining bits of gum. Just grab a little piece from each colour. So you can grab those 5 colours and just roll them into a ball. And then you have rainbow bubblegum. Yum! Right, this is really easy. For this, just get a square baking tin and a round baking tin and just bake a cake. Now you can just look at lots of my other cakes and choose a recipe. I've just made a basic chocolate cake. You just take it out of here, put it at this angle so it's like a diamond. Now just put some frosting, icing, whatever, all over the top. Now for this you can use M&M's, Skittles, Smarties, whatever. Place them wherever you want. Oh yeah. There you go. Really easy. Just a square cake, circular cake, put it together like that and just put M&M's, Skittles, Smarties, whatever on it like that, and you get this awesome giant heart cake where you didn't even need a mold for it. Well, I hope you like this. Oh yeah. For this, get a large mixing bowl, put in about 300 mils of milk. I'm using 2%, you can use full cream if you wish. If you wish. Then add 100 mils of thickened cream, whipping cream or heavy cream, 6 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Now mix this until the sugar has dissolved. Now depending on how many colours you plan to make, just divide this between 4 or 5, however many different colours you're going to make. Just divide this evenly. Now once you've divided them, choose the colours and the flavouring that you want. So for each one, use about 1 teaspoon. So for this one, I'm doing peppermint. And for the colour of peppermint, put in green. Now, depends on how vibrant you want it. 2 or 3 drops should be more than enough. Now get your Zoku once you've had it in the freezer for 24 hours. Put these in. Put your first colour in. Just, you can make it as even as you want. I like to have different heights. Now this only takes about 7 to 9 minutes to freeze the whole thing. Just one layer. The first layer should only take a minute or minute and a half. And while that's starting to freeze, do your next colour and so forth, and keep adding a colour about every minute, minute and a half. Now if you want the colours to be completely separated, add an extra 30 seconds before you put in each layer. If you do it the way I do, you'll get a separation, but you might get a slight blend, and that can look really, really cool. Put the little lids on. For this final one, just leave it for about 4 minutes. Look at these. Now get a large mixing bowl, put in about 170 mils of ice cream. Whichever layer you want to do first. Now I'm going to do the pink, so strawberry. Now throw in 130 mils of self-raising flour. Now that's about a bit over half a cup. Now just mix this in. Now just repeat with the other colours you're going to use, same ratios, so just whatever flavours you want, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, caramel, mint, whatever, maybe a blue flavour. Now just get a baking tin, one that you usually put a loaf in or something, sort of bread shaped. Get the mixture and pour it in there. Then get another layer. Then put in your final colour. Yum. Alrighty, now just turn your oven on to about 180 degrees Celsius, which is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. This should take about 45 minutes. Could take an hour, just check after about 40 to 45 minutes if it's ready. Alright, now just leave that to cool in there. Just let it cool pretty well before you start cutting into slices, and just eat and enjoy like you've never enjoyed before. Yum. How good is that? Get a medium-sized saucepan and boil some water. Then get some pasta. Any pasta is fine. I'm using for this linguine. You can use spaghetti, you can use fettuccine, doesn't really matter. Just follow the instructions on the packet to cook the pasta, and then we'll get on to what we need to do next. Now that these have cooked, pour them into a strainer and then pour some cold water over the pasta to stop them cooking any further. Now get some Ziploc bags like this, open them up, pour in 2 tablespoons of cold water, put in 20 to 30 drops of the colour for each one. So I'm putting blue in this one. Then for the next bag I'll put in red, then green, yellow. You can use as many colours as you want. Now get your pasta, portion the pasta into fairly even amounts depending on how many colours. If you're using 4 colours, portion it out into 4 even amounts, 7 colours, 7 even amounts. Get the pasta, put it in the bag, seal it, give it a shake around and let it sit in there for about 1 to 2 minutes. Yum. Just give it a good shake. Get the colour evenly through it if you can. So we just leave it in the bag, like I said, for a minute or 2, let it absorb, and do that with all the other ones as well. Now return these one at a time to the strainer. So put one colour in here, pour water over it, cold water from the tap, just to strain or drain off any of the excess food colouring. Put it back in the saucepan and do that for each one. Yeah. Now I'll just mix this together a bit so we've got a nice even mixture of colours. Yum. Oh, look at that. Get a mixing bowl, throw in 350 grams of butter. Leave it out so it's softened. Now just beat this until it's creamy. Now add 1 cup of granulated sugar and beat this until it's light and fluffy. Now add 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence and 1 egg. Now just blend these ingredients in. Now get 3.5 cups of plain flour. Turn the mixer on to low and just add it a spoonful at a time. Now just divide this dough up into 4 sections, 4 separate bowls or whatever. That's if you're going to use 4 different colours. Now get the dough, one of the 4 pieces that you've made. If you want this to be extra vibrant, just put some food colouring in it. So just make a well in the middle, put some of that in. Get a packet of jelly or jello, this stuff. Get that and pour about 2 to 3 tablespoons worth in there. Now we're just going to knead this so we get it all in there. Now just repeat that with the 3 other colours you're going to use and flavours. Now from this point all you need to do is grab some, roll into a ball. Now get the remaining jello, just sprinkle it. Get these once you've rolled them into balls and roll them in it. Then put this on a baking tray and you just flatten them with a spoon. So just flatten them like that. Pop these in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius, which is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. These will take probably around 10 to 12 minutes to bake. Put in 3/4 of a cup of soft butter. Then about 85 grams of cream cheese and 1 cup of sugar. White sugar, super fine sugar. It's all good. Now just turn your mixer on or beater and just cream this until it's light and fluffy. Now add 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence or vanilla extract and add 1 egg. Now just mix or beat this in until it's smooth. In a separate bowl, put in 2 3/4 cups of plain flour. Then add 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Just give it a little stir. Add your flour mixture in with the soft mixture. Now you can either mix this by hand or with a spoon, or if you've got an attachment like this, which is good for mixing dough, use this. Now we're going to want this to be doughy. Get the doughy mixture and break them up into fourths. Then you want to just put a few drops, or as many drops as you want, of food colouring, different food colouring into each. Drop it into the hole. Now just move all but one, and you want to just mix this colour in. So it doesn't have to be completely even, it's just so it's reasonably tinted. So you can knead it in, crush it in, whatever you want. So this part is done. As you can see, you don't want them to be, well, you can if you want, but you don't really need them to be super bright like Play-Doh can be. So you just want it to be tinted nicely so there is colour. Wrap each one in saran wrap, put it in the fridge for 2 hours. Now that these have been in the fridge for 2 hours, we want to probably take about half of each mixture and then break them up into balls. Now you should have 4 small balls. Now you want to just put them all together to make one large ball. There you go. Now you want to start to roll this. Just roll it out so you get a long, thin piece. Probably about 12 inches long. So it's sort of like a small snake. Alright, it's a bit more than 12 inches, but that's fine. It's, bigger the better. So just like I've done with the first 2, just coil them together. Then get some sort of stick like this so they can be cake poppied, and carefully put it in there. Probably to about halfway or so. Now just pop these in the oven at 175 degrees Celsius, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're just going to bake them for around 8 minutes until they're just lightly browned. Oh, hope you like these. Get a saucepan, put in 1 cup of cold water, then put in 3 packets of Jello or jelly. I'm using this. Whatever colours you want, I'm starting with strawberry. One of these packs is 85 grams, so 3 of those. Just put it in there. Then add 3 packets, or about 30 grams, of unflavoured gelatin. Now it's the unflavoured gelatin that turns the jelly or jello into a gummy consistency. Now just leave this on the counter for about 5 minutes just to let it glugify. Now that it's glugified, put it on the stove and turn the heat on to high, and we just want to stir this until the crystals have totally dissolved. Now get a baking tin, one that has this in the middle, something like this, they're easy to find, and then pour this straight in. Now make sure you grease it, just make it a little easier to get out. Now just leave this on the counter for about 20 minutes just to let it cool a bit, and then put it in the fridge and let it set. And then repeat with all the other layers. And have a second one. It makes it a lot easier if you've got two. If you've only got one, do the layers in this. Once it's set, take it out and then repeat. Once this is set for both of them, take them out, place one down, and then stick them together. Yum yum. Look at